Hello, guys. The Coin here. It's been a while since I haven't made a live stream or a video, um, but I just wanted to come on and and basically tell you that one of my videos has been deleted. So it was a video where the title was the news update, where I actually talked about the bubonic plague or the Black Plague, and basically YouTube said that the community's guidelines describe which content we allow. Was flagged to us for review. Upon review, we've determined that violates the guidelines and we remove it from YouTube. So basically, here are they saying the video content restrictions. YouTube doesn't allow content that explicit disputes the efficacy of the World Health Organization. Look at this shit. So any narrative that goes against the World Health Organization, they're going to delete it. But the most incredible part, because I watched the video, I rewatched the video because they don't delete it until 7 days to see if that had something to do with it. But I never even mentioned the World Health Organization in the video, not even once. The only thing I talked about was about the bubonic plague news that were coming out. And since I was curious, and now that I decided to see what's going on. So once again, I never even mentioned the World Health Organization. I didn't mention any authorities. All I mentioned was the media that were spreading all the bullshit about the bubonic plague. And since I'm curious, I just wanted to see what are the headlines regarding the bubonic plague news. So yeah, I just started to check out what the news are talking about in regards of the bubonic plague. So let us just see here. So once again, this is 15 hours ago. So my video got deleted or got removed from YouTube about 2 or 3 days ago or something. So second man dies of bubonic plague, and as U.S. state confirms second case of deadly disease. Russia fights to stop the outbreak of bubonic plague by vaccinating 32,000 people. So they're telling us that there is actually a vaccination against the bubonic plague. Look, guys, it's like I'm saying. Look, this is all fucking ridiculous, but whatever. So Russian region orders mass vaccination against bubonic plague. This is what it's all about, guys. It's all about the vaccination. And lo and behold, there is a vaccine for COVID-19 that the Russians made as well. So isn't it quite ironic that they're actually vaccinating against the bubonic plague, and just last week they come up with a vaccine for COVID-19 as well? Wow. So that's incredible. China seals off villages after bubonic plague deaths. Second death linked with bubonic plague recorded in a village in Mongolia, which this was basically where it all started about 2 or 3 months ago, when someone died in Mongolia, or a little boy. Then it came out that it was two men or two boys that died. So contradictory news here, but whatever. So here once again, New Mexico man in his 20s dies of the plague. Officials confirm. Wine windows from bubonic plague era make a comeback amid coronavirus pandemic. Italian wine window opened during pandemic. These photos have circulated in online posts and related. In China are on high alert after a suspected case of the plague. This was 1 week ago. Russia vaccinated. So this is coming. This is pushing more in Russia, where supposedly people are getting vaccinated against it. Once again, if you're one of these people that are going to get a vaccine for whatever, man, watch out. The bubonic plague still exists. Here is how you get it and how to treat it. A new Mexico man has died from the state's second reported case of plague this year. Chinese town recorded case of bubonic plague or Black Death, sealed off, and level 3 caution raised. So, yeah, guys, it's incredible what's going on. I don't even want to cover the economic news because things are so bad and still the markets are going up. But once again, it's going to roll over, guys. Because one thing that people should actually take a look at when this all starts to unveil. Let me just put in here what's going on. No, this is not a good one. Just put the other one. This is better. So Bitcoin is actually starting to dump a little bit. So, but once again, look, Bitcoin is actually doing well. Once again, still doing well. Let me just take a look at what the Dow Jones did on the week. It actually staled, or it has been staling a little bit since it got to 27,905. The SPX almost or is about to break an all-time highs. Almost about to broken the all-time highs, which we saw here. It's having a little bit of a difficulty, but once again, what you should take a look is the US dollar index, because this is going to dictate what the markets will do. It looks like we had a double bottom on the DXY, which is a dollar index here. So we will have to see if this holds, if it comes a little bit lower and it starts to go up, because once again, when the dollar starts to rise, then you can expect for equities and commodities to drop. Why? Because basically what is going on is they want to tell us, or they want kind of for us to believe that we're in an inflationary depression, but that is not the case. And the reason is because of quantitative easing. So the Fed, although the Fed cannot create money, they cannot create bills, they can continue to create debt, because basically what is going on is, and there is actual some articles talking about it. So some states in the United States are buying all the food that they can, especially canned food. So let's use that analogy to what is going on with the Fed and the money printing, because they're not printing money, they're printing digital currency. So basically what the Fed does is when it wants to buy stuff, so they buy stuff from you, but they pay you with an IOU. So what does that mean? It means that they're going to pay you an IOU, but the problem is with that IOU, if you want to spend the money that the Fed is giving you, you are not able to spend it. You have to wait to spend your money. So basically what this is actually creating in the real economy is contracting the money supply. Why? Because people, instead of buying stuff, instead of buying spending stuff, buy food, spending money on their mortgages and stuff like that, they can't. First, because of the stimulus package, which hasn't been approved yet. So people are actually not getting any money whatsoever. They're not getting any relief. I know that Trump signed an executive order, but the problem is that many people still believe that it is unconstitutional. But most of the people still don't understand that the United States is still in a state of emergency. So if Donald Trump decides to bypass the Congress, he can do whatever he wants. But we still have to see, because although he signed that executive order, it looks like people still haven't got their checks. And one more thing that is actually bad about this is that there were negotiations between the Republicans and the Democrats, and it looks like they went on vacation until August. So people are in dire straits, and they never got to the bill because the Democrats don't agree with the amount, and the Republicans don't as well. So basically, they never came to an agreement. They went all for vacation, right? Where people, are in dire straits of seeing what's going on because of the evictions, But once again, I don't know if that executive order will get into effect, because the executive order that Trump released was because of that. But once again, they never got to a deal, so now they're all on vacation until August. So people for the next 15 days are going to get it very bad, and I believe this is part of the plan as well. Because once again, take a look, guys. So people are not spending because first they can't get loans from the banks, right? They can't get loans from the banks, because the banks are not trusting. The people are not trusting each other. So when people do not spend, although there is a lot of debt, the contraction continues to pile up, and it piles up, and it piles up. So eventually, the Fed is buying stocks. They're buying all the stocks that they can. And there is the liquidity, right? On the other hand, banks are not able to loan, or they don't want to loan because the interest rates are too high. It's not good for them to loan among each other, and most of the people that want to get a loan, they don't need it, and they don't want to pay high interest rates, right? So they're not getting it because they don't want the clients, or because the interest rates are too high. So basically, what will happen is that the Fed will be obliged to buy, obliged to stop buying the equities and the commodities, and they will have to start to buy. They don't buy bonds. They will have to start to. They will have to stop to buy equities and commodities, and they will have to continue to print more money. So eventually, because the people that are buying bonds right now are banks, right? So banks are buying bonds, and soon enough, because the banks are not lending any money whatsoever, they will tell the Fed, the banks will tell the Fed that, look, we're not making any money, it's not going well. If you don't reverse, if you don't start to buy, or don't start to let us lend money to the people that need it, we're going under, we're going belly up, right? Because you have to understand something. The Fed cannot print money. The only entities that can print money are the central banks, right? Or the banks. The banks are able to create money. Why? Because when they loan, that's where money is created, right? That's how central or fractional lending works. The banks create the money because of people investing, putting their savings and loaning out money. That's how more money is created from thin air. The Fed is not able to do that. Only the banks can do it. And the bottom line is we live in a debt-based system, right? So if the banks are not lending, if money is not spent, you know, this is this is not going anywhere, right? The banks will be in dire strait. The economy will 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 crash. So eventually, the Fed will have to turn around, and instead of trying to suppress the bond market, they will have to buy the bond market. They will have to buy the bond market to bring interest rates down, right? And what will happen at the same time, or after a little while, depending on what's going on, the dollar will rise with the bonds. So what will end up happening? So there is no liquidity, right? There is no liquidity in the banking system because there are no loans, because they're not making money, because the interest rates are too high. What will the banks, what will be the Fed be doing, and many of the market participants, you know, because they have been pumping money. So the money, instead of being around for the economy in US dollars, there are in equities and commodities. So basically, when the policy inverts, or not the policy, when this all inverts, and the banks and eventually the Fed will start to buy bonds hands over fist, the market participants will have to sell their shares of stock and of commodities to bring liquidity to that market, because the most liquid market right now is stocks and commodities, right? The liquid one is where the economy works, and the economy is contracting, and the money supply is contracting. Although there is a lot of debt, that money, or that relief, or the money that the Fed is continuing to print, because they can't create money. They can only print money. The banks are the ones that can create money. So they have been pumping up the stock market, right? But the money supply that is needed for the real economy and for the loans and for everybody to go along, and money flow is stopped. It's not going anywhere. There is no liquidity. That's why although in the United States they say that the recovery is coming on, it's all bullshit, guys. Because unless they bring the liquidity to the real economy sector, things are not going anywhere. And the bottom line is, the Fed will be forced to buy the bonds, and let the banks buy the bonds, which will sell the bonds to the Fed itself, because the Fed by then will be buying bonds as crazy, right? And because of that, the market participant will have to sell the shares, you know, because they will need liquidity. They will need money to buy stuff and to pay for stuff. And there is no liquidity because all the money is put on stocks. So eventually, when all this shifts, right, the stock market has to go down, because everybody will be selling hand over fist, because they have to, in order to save the real economy, right? Because right now everybody is pumping the stock market, and believe that we're going to surpass all-time highs, which we believe we might still get. But then eventually everything will be crashing down. So in one hand, do you want to save the stock market, or do you want to save the banks? Because the banks are going to be the trigger of all this. They're going to tell the Fed, look, we can't make money if you don't do this or don't help us out. It's going to be like 2008. If you don't bail us out, if you don't let us do our thing, then we're going bankrupt. And then all the economic system collapses. And they're not going to do that. Of course, the bank is going to stop doing what it is right now to buy stocks, and they will dump them, and they will make the market participants to dump their stocks and shares to go to the other market, because that's where the money will be, in the bond market. And when the bonds start to go up, where will the market participants be putting their money? In the US dollar. because the US dollar will get a lot stronger. Look, even when was it? Yesterday, there was a news article of Warren Buffett once again. He dumped most of the stocks that he had, and he's buying gold. But the problem is, like we saw in March, you know, the commodities, gold and silver, are going to go down as well. There might be going down for like 40%, because the bottom line is we're getting, or it has already started. The precious metals market is going into a bull market, but we will have to have that retraction because, unfortunately, like we have been seeing, the stock market and precious metals has been going up at the same time, right? So the stock market is going to dump, commodities are going to dump like gold and silver, and only after gold and silver bottom out, which I believe that the stock market continues to plummet, then the gold and silver market will continue its bull run. Gold already hit all-time highs, and silver is about to do the same. But first, we will have to have that correction because, once again, the stock market goes down, everything else goes down. The only thing that will go up is the dollar and the bond market. So basically, that is what is going to happen, guys. This is what is going to happen. Like I said before in some videos, they're going to crash the market. But now I understand because I've been listening to a guy that understands a lot of it, and he has been making comparisons to the 2008 crisis and to right now, and exactly the same thing is happening right now. And what will happen? The real estate market, everything else will plummet. The price of houses and everything else will drop. Why? Because this is a deflationary depression, not an inflationary depression like most of the people actually believe. And once again, the proof is what happened in 2008, 2009. The housing market crashed. The companies that built homes, they went bankrupt because they weren't able to get their money because of loans. That is already happening right now, right? Everything is playing out like it happened in 2008, 2009. The only difference now is that there is the digital dollar out there that was passed on the last stimulus package that got approved back in I don't know if it was in March. The digital dollar is out already. And once again, people believe that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will continue to go higher, but that is not the case. That is not the case at all, guys. We still have to see when this starts to unfold. When the Fed will reverse what it's doing right now, which is buying stocks and getting into bonds, which will lower the interest rates and will bring the dollar up because the Fed balance sheet is correlated to the dollar, right? So that's the reason why the dollar will go up, So once again, guys, when you start to see the market to start to drop, really, because we had a little blip here and there, but not really, and not anything major happened. Because once again, the bonds are not going up yet, right? They actually have been going down. They have been going down. Look, this is what happened. This is what happened when the stock market crashed. Bonds went up, then it went down a little bit, and then it started to go up. And this is basically what's going on, because if we want to take a look at the bond market, it's basically, it was at all-time high. So what do you actually believe will happen? When everybody will have to sell stocks and commodities and buying bonds again, it's going much higher. And once again, with that, it will bring the dollar with it to the upside. Look how correlated it is. Sometimes they fell apart a little bit, but not too long. So right, so bond market is the bond market is going down. It looks like the U.S. dollar index already formed a double bottom here, right? So eventually, now, or the bond market will come back here, will come back down here, will come back down here and test these lows, and then eventually they will rise together. I know that I'm not explaining this very well, but there was actually a guy out there which I started to that I started to follow, and because the bottom line is the guy makes a lot of sense. The guy really makes a lot of sense, and let me just put a link of his YouTube video in here. Look, the guy explains it very well. He has a lot of videos. He calls himself the king of the bond market, and yeah, I start to understand why. Because once again, I've started to take a look at all this of some of the information way before I got into this guy. Because the bottom line is, what happened between February and March, everything dumped. But what happened also? The dollar started to rise after the dump. So basically, because the dollar index has been brought down so much, it has been brought down so much, it will rise. And once again, Warren Buffett is dumping stocks once again and is buying gold. Although once again he will start to realize that this is not, at least for right now. But we understand. The only thing that people don't understand about Warren Buffett is that he is a long-term investor, guys, right? So he really doesn't care if gold is going to plummet 40% right now, because if in 5 or 10 years, gold is above 70 or 80%, do you really believe he gives a damn? The bottom line is, what people have to understand about Warren Buffett, and I have been studying a little bit of how his strategies have been working over the decades and stuff like that. He's not a short-term trader, guys. He's a long-term investor. He invests for decades. And if he's putting money into gold, which I believe is the right thing to do, not of right now, especially if you're a trader. If you're about swing trading, stuff like that, get prepared for the dump, because everything will dump. Gold and silver will dump, but eventually, when this is all said and done, people will buy gold and silver again. But the bottom line is, you can't also forget that if you want to buy the real stuff, buy the real stuff. Don't buy the ETFs or the paper, because let's be honest and sincere about it. Even if gold and silver drop 40%, do you really believe that you're going to get the physical stuff at the price that the comics is selling it to you? Of course not. Take a look at what happened. Take a look at what happened when silver and gold dropped as well in here. One thing is for sure, and I was watching the markets. Do you really believe that you were able to buy $12 silver? Because that's the price that was put it on the comments. Do you know what happened when silver went to $12? There wasn't any silver to sell on APMEX, which is the biggest U.S. dealer out there. Of course, on eBay you were on eBay and other stuff you were able to buy it. But if you wanted to buy silver from the regular regular companies like APMEX, you weren't able to. because they were not they were not they had a shortage. The U.S. Mint wasn't printing anything, right? So let's say the market's it's going 40% down again. So I don't know. We're at 26, maybe around 18 or something. Do you really believe that you're going to be able to buy dollar? You are able to buy silver at 18? I don't even believe you are able to buy gold at around 1,100 or around $1,200 because the premiums will be too high, like they are right now. Although silver is at $26 here, if you want to buy on APMEX and other sources, you won't be able to buy it for less than $32. In most cases, it's at 36, and even APMEX doesn't have many years. The like the Liberty the Silver Eagle Liberty coin. I've checked the prices. Most of them they don't have it available. The 2020 is out of stock again. They have the 2019, which is about $42 or $43. But I can put it here as well. Just let us take a look at it. What the price of silver. So here it is, 2061. It lost $1.17, the last trading day, I guess. U.S. Silver Mint coins. And this is not what I wanted. The hell? Silver American Eagle. Yeah, the Silver American Eagle coins. American Silver Eagle coins. So let us check it out. Check it out. So here it is. Take a look at the price right now. So the spot price of silver is 26.61. So they have a random year, but they don't have the 2020, or they have it already. The 2020, 36.60. The 2020, 37.60. Take a look at the others. Oh, they have the 2019 again. Yesterday I was looking at it, I couldn't find it. But take a look at the price, 41.61. Take a look at the 2018, 43.61. 2017 they don't have it. Oh yeah, they must have gotten some yesterday because I was taking a look at the site yesterday and most of the coins weren't available. Or maybe they're creating an artificial shortage as well. Just take a look at the prices, you guys. 40.61, 39.61, 39.61. The prices are going high. The prices are going higher and higher, right? Oh, that's new. They're now accepting Bitcoin for it. And that's eventually what will happen, guys. People will jump overboard from cryptocurrency to buy gold and silver. That's what will happen. Because once again, equities go down, which is the stock market and the shares, and cryptocurrency will go down as well. Why? Because they have to sell. And once again, there is another reason in the case of Bitcoin, because the dollar is going up. If the dollar is going up, it's not good news for the cryptocurrency market. And once again, it is part of the same deal because the cryptocurrency market, because of the gains that many people are making right now, it's a highly liquid market. So they will be forced, like the people that are in equities, they will be forced to dump their Bitcoin. And when they start to see the dollar rising, they will dump their Bitcoin and their cryptocurrency to be holding dollars, man. and people still don't understand that stuff. But whatever. Once again, I'm just maybe I'm not making any sense, but whatever, man. Once again, I put the link out there if you want to see it. I have 0 viewers right now, which is understandable because they have been shadow banning me. They have been deleting my videos because they don't like what I say about the World Health Organization. Although the video that was deleted, I never said anything about the World Health Organization. All I did was talking about the bubonic plague, that they're that they're that they're going to yeah, they're pushing this agenda. And there's a lot more stuff that I could go about, but I really don't want to make a very long video. What will I leave you is important stuff. It's what I was telling when I was talking about an analogy with the central banks. The states in the United States are buying food, are buying a lot of food, and that's why there are shortages. I will get you the articles. They have been buying food for, I don't know, since March or May or whatever. So, yeah, I guess this one this one will be good enough here to show you what's going on. From peanut butter to applesauce, Washington State stockpiles tons of food for the need ahead, right? And it's not just it's just not the Washington State. All the states are doing the same thing. Even what was it, man? I can't believe I forgot. Federal agencies are buying food as well, right? That's where the state's new emergency food reserve comes in. So basically, they're taking the supply, they're removing it from the regular person because they're stockpiling, and what will happen is, yeah, they're withholding the food supply from the majority of the people, right? And only now they're talking about it. So they have been doing it since May and whatever, when people started to talk that there was a food shortage coming. The states are responsible for that because they have been stockpiling it. So once again, that's what people should pay attention to. As many as 2.2 million Washingtonians, about 30% of the state's population, are facing food insecurity, according to Katie Rains, WSDA food policy advisor. That's more than double the 85,000 state residents who sought help from food assistance programs last November before the pandemic. So they're withholding the food. They have been doing it for a month, right? Do you really believe that they're going to give it to you? They're giving a little bit, just perhaps 1% or less than 1% to you, and they're going to give away the rest to the elites, because these people can't go without food, right? Once again, start to take a look into it. I don't know if this policy is only happening in the United States. Yesterday, I saw something about a video about that China is banning, people from making videos on kind of YouTube in China of them eating food. They're saying it's that people are wasting food and stuff like that. I agree in some cases where people are just eating like morons, just for views and whatever. But that's not up to me. That's up to them. So the state wants to limit. The state already limited, because people that were making these videos in China, they had to change their titles and modify their behavior because of the state, right? So, like I said, guys, this is geoengineering 101. I don't know if this is happening here in Portugal. I have no news because, unfortunately, here to get some news about anything besides that, what is not reported on the mainstream media is almost impossible. But yeah. So this is it, guys. I'm the Coin, and I'm out.